Bottom half of the second. Tavistock Merchants coming to the plate. The host team this week at the U23 men's. That ball in there for ball one to Keenan Bateman, designated player this afternoon.
Keegan has been 7 for 18 so far in the tournament, but leads the team in RBIs with 7.
7 seeming to be a magical number here this week for RBIs.
Everybody played 6 games, so won a game, not bad.
Need 2-0, now 2-1 on the swing and miss by Bateman. Tavistock, the host, but also the defending champions here this week. Off speed, little pull of the string there has Bateman out in front. Two-two. Foul ball. Keeps it even at 2s. Straight up in the outfield as Need works. Off speed into the dirt. Ball 3, 3-2. And fouled off. Do it again, full count.
Good fight there by Bateman. Get a bat in the ball.
Need works it full. Bateman battling. Need with the pitch. Swing and a miss. Down and away. Good drop there from Nick Need. Gets Bateman to lead things off here on the strikeout. Second one here of the afternoon. Jack Becker now will come to the plate. Choked up on the bat ever so slightly. He takes for a ball. Need sets. That ball gets lifted up. And under it is Braden Woodworth for out number 2. Up and down, Ben Whiffen now at the plate. Ben was in the home run derby on Tuesday night here. Something a little different at a Canadian Championship this year.
I think Nick won it. Didn't Nick White win it? With 5
I believe, yeah, 5-4.
Yeah, over Derek
Herb.
Herb from Tavistock.
Quick 0-1. Now 0-2 as it paints the corner to Ben Whiffen. 0-2 pitch. Climb that ladder. Swings and misses. Whiffing down on strikes. 1-2-3. Tavistock down in order as we go to the top half of the third after this. Tyler Payne will lead things off here, as it'll be Payne, Eisner, and White who will lead things off. We're going to be joined here by Softball Canada CEO Mike Brenshaw for the third inning. Talk a little bit about all things Canadian softball. Mike, a little double duty this week, of course, wearing the CEO hat, but also a proud parent of Tyler Brenshaw, who we saw in the last game in the Wyerton squad as a swing and a miss, strike two. And Mike, thanks for taking the time to hop on with us.
Thanks, Kyle. Always great to talk to you guys. This great game as we see a long fly ball.
Mason McKay settles under it and tracks it down. So, relatively new CEO. I mean, we're a couple years in now, but
yeah, time's flying, that's for sure. It's actually 3 softball seasons as I count it now as CEO. So, and I think it's now, 17 full seasons with me with Softball Canada. So, yeah, it's flying by, Kyle. There's no doubt about that.
How's been the transition into the new role with the Softball Canada?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, the people in our game, our staff, our board, our volunteer base, that's what makes it roll. And, it's been a heck of a ride for me, playing and then getting into this role with Softball Canada. If you told me when I was in university taking, good old sports admin that I was going to do this for the rest of my life, I would have said absolutely. So it's been a wonderful ride.
Strike 3 on Eisner brings Nick White to the plate. He settles his feet. He sends a charge out into that. That ball's going to carry and say goodbye, home run, Nick White. A bunt. And now a home run. Tuck that shoulder in, young man. Maybe a one-arm swing as Nick White has made it 1-0 here for Nova Scotia. And there's a guy, Mike, who coming off of Group B qualifier, Nick White really turned a lot of heads on the senior men's team.
Yeah, actually, Kyle, it started in May in our camp in Kelowna. We had, something I'm sure we're going to get into about the U23 program, but we had a bunch of U23 kids there, and Nick was with the U23s, and we had a few injuries and a few things, so he got lots of playing time, and like you said, he turns heads. He was noticed last year, and as you know, speed kills in this game, and he definitely has that speed, and whenever he can just hit like he did here with that opposite field power, and it's a home run, and lays down and beats out a bunt in the first inning to lead off the game, it makes it so tough on the defense. You just don't know where to play him. So, and he does play a pretty good center field or right field as well. So
yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
As we go, let's say at a 50,000 foot look at Softball Canada, I mean, you responsible for the day to day workings, at looking after the direction that the board sets. But, you know, a lot of things that get noticed. The national teams, Team Canada, the women's team picked up the bronze medal in Italy. Team Canada men playing host next summer. They finished third in the Group B qualifiers. So there's lots going on for the national team. And talk about, there's been some change in the national team, especially on the women's side, new coaching staff coming in and setting the tone there. So for Canada, picking up a bronze, picking up points to stay in the top 6 as they get ready for the World Games next year.
Yeah, Kaylee Rafter obviously was, a smooth transition for us from a player to a coach. And her experience with Florida State, has helped as well. So it's been a great ride. Mark Smith did a great job up into the Olympics, and then with Kaylee and the respect she had from the players and the existing players that are still there, and even the new ones. It's just like the structure in that program now is tremendous. It's so different than the men's program whenever you're around it, but it's well respected. She's well respected, and it's amazing to sit there and watch them practice. And not that the guys don't work hard, but I can guarantee you this: there's nobody working harder than our women's team.
So Nick Need back to the mound here, pasted to a 1-0 lead. He gets in for called strike 1 to Calvin Monroe, but as the WBSC calendar has evolved, and you talked about the U23 squad, there's always seemingly number of national teams going on, whether it be in qualification, whether it be at World Cups, team level.
Oh, 100%. And it's, a lot of times too is there's, depending on what age category you're talking about, there's the added qualifier step now, right? With the men's and the women's and the U18 women's. So, and then throw in the multi-sport games like the World Games.
Monroe flies out to right field.
And, Pan Am games as well in there as a multi-sport game. And obviously the end goal for our women's team is 2028, the Olympics. The qualification process hasn't been announced yet, but that is the goal for our women's team, to make sure we're in that. I'm hoping that with the announcement of the games going to Oklahoma City, that they consider expanding from 6 to 8 teams on the women's side. Which to me makes some sense. So I was just in Oklahoma City last week with our border battle teams, our women's and our men's on the slow pitch side, and that facility is amazing. And I know it's far from LA, but they're going to do a top-notch job. And 13 screaming people, similar to the College World Series, there is going to be incredible. So
Derek Erb takes up and in for ball 1-1, and as we talk with Mike Branchow, the CEO of Softball Canada. So pivoting away from the national team, I mean, that kind of gets recognition, but overall across the country, this is your busy time of year with national championships taking place all spread out all across Canada. Alberta or Calgary hosting one this week. U17 girls, U19 girls is in Saskatchewan. This one here this week, and it just continues to roll. But overall, what's the state of the game at the grassroots level?
There's been an increase in registration over the last couple years, as everybody else, every sport kind of suffered with 2020-21 through the pandemic, but numbers have increased the last 2 years. We're excited for what happens in the future. Tim Hortons was a huge partner with us, but unfortunately this year they stepped away from the Timbits program, but we're in discussions with them again to build that grassroots level. And it's one of those things that you just want people playing this sport, and showcasing our events such as this and the Canadian Championships across the board is a great way to feature our young players.
Looking at national championships taking place this week, spread that out across the country. What does that do for, host centers. I know, speaking from my experience hosting 2 nationals in Tavistock and Innerkip, but what does that say when you get so many bids and people interested in hosting events like this, right? This is the first time in a long time that Kitchener hosted, and they're back on the board again next year for U23 and seniors and masters. But talk about spreading it across the country to give everybody a look.
Yeah, ideally, I mean, there'd be a rotation in there of east-west, and it's it doesn't necessarily always work out that way. But we do want to make sure that we're given the opportunity to that age category, so people are, moving about the country and they're not always playing at home. It's great whenever you can come to an event and you fly in whenever you're a youngster and you spend 5, 6, 7 nights in the hotel you play, and compared to driving in an hour and playing everywhere. That you play league play or, just a regular tournament or a qualifier. So, the opportunity to play in Canadian championships is huge for these players. And it's one of those things, Kyle, where sometimes we got to go where we get the bid to.
Yep.
And right now we're sitting with a few open championships for next year that we're in discussion with several centers. But I'm getting reports from Sask right now, Saskatoon, and the attendance is incredible. Like, they got 21 teams there. Calgary, there's, I think it's 24 out there. And then Île-Perrot, Montreal area is hosting the U15 girls, and they're in the 20s as well. So the girls program is so strong, and the guys, the quality is there, but the quantity sometimes isn't. Like here, we got 7 teams. The quality's great. It's an awfully young U23 event, but a lot of these future guys are going to be wearing Team Canada colors. Either at some are still eligible for U18 and
U23.
U23 as well coming up shortly. But there's a couple of young 06, 07 kids here, and so it's also nice to see that. And our head coach Doug Allen's here watching closely for not only the qualifier in this fall, but he's also watching for World Cup in 2026, right?
As we look, you mentioned you've got some open bids. How would people go about putting a bid in if they're interested? What's that process to get a bid? As off and running, McKay got him. DOA as ends the inning, but we'll keep it here with Mike. But how do centers go about getting an opportunity to bid?
Yeah, so bidding opens up October 1st, 2 years out. So this year, 2024, October 1, we'll start accepting bids for 2026. But anything that's open after that, that bid process in the beginning remains open until we actually get a bid. So with these other open championships for 2025, the process is they get in touch with their provincial territorial association. Bid application is right online. Gilles LeBlanc from our office handles the Canadian Championship, so they can get in touch with him with any help that is required for the Canadians and the bid process. So they need that provincial support. And obviously there's, some parameters in there. Contract is built, and kind of go from there. There's a host team, host center, so there's lots of little things in there, but it's a pretty simple process. And in my years of doing Canadian Championships, a lot of host centers have been profitable, so it's
It's about leaving a legacy, right?
Absolutely.
Help develop your programs.
Yep, for sure. And like you said, the infrastructure that you can build and the partnerships that you can build with your cities and your townships, and there is government grants, there's potential for sponsors, so lots of little things to help you with the bidding process.
Brody Frazier will lead things off as we slip into the top half of the fourth, being joined by Mike Branchell, the CEO of Softball Canada. I want to say thanks to him for his time today, as I know he's a busy guy, but always a chance to talk ball and hear what's happening at the national level. pivoting again, we'll look back to the national teams, and you talked about the U23 national team, and their cycle ended last year after Argentina, but that's a new division that WBSC added into the program. And for me, from where I sit, talking with Joe and Blair and those involved, it's a real nice addition into the program to bridge the gap from 18 to 23 to the men's program.
Oh, agreed. Like the exposure for these kids at that level, and the ball, like in Argentina, the caliber ball was so good. It actually it turned out, because of the COVID and cancellations and host changes and stuff, it was actually expanded birth year. So they actually had U25 event that year, so which even made it a lot of men's national team players were there, from different countries, and it was quite evident that the pitching was so strong as well. A lot of guys pitched for both the U25s and the men's team. So
that one bounces out to the center fielder McKay as Brody Frazier picks up a base hit. There's a guy from a previous national team and a guy that on the East Coast is really putting in work and playing at that higher level. So you talk about national teams and, our national team getting ready to host next year at 2025 in Prince Albert. You would have to think possibly some of our guys looking at retirement after that next cycle. So, you took a younger team to Prince Albert this year for the qualifier, and coming out of that, I think it showed, there's talent there, but maybe just needs a little bit of work.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we knew, going in there.
Base hit on the left side, starting to find their way here is Nova Scotia.
Yeah, with Prince Albert, I mean, we did have a younger team and some guys that were given opportunities that never really had the opportunity before to wear the national team uniform. So it was great to see the changes in the lineup. But next year, it's also going to be, it's going to be a somewhat of a different team there to ensure that we put our best team on the field. I think with the changing and all the other events and the schedules, we should be able to do that, as will all the countries. So, the stages in Prince Albert especially had, the three top higher tier teams, I guess you could call them, and then, three teams that were just kind of moving up or trying to get some ranking points. So next year, though, you got your top teams are going to be there, and all the top players are going to be there across the board. So it's going to be some great ball in Prince Albert. And if you are coming, I would suggest bringing some bug spray, because the bugs out there at nighttime were just huge.
Almost carry you away as that pitch goes up and out. When we look at, Mike, the other part of the program, we talk grassroots, we talk national teams. Talk a little bit about the umpire program. I mean, there's not many better than Softball Canada umpires, whether it's domestically, internationally, as that rise ball swings and misses. But a bit of a leadership change there, too, as Frankie Billingsley takes over the national director of umpiring.
Yep, yeah, and even the WBSC itself has changed the process of how they select umpires. So there is definitely changes in the umpire program. As our team progresses and we get to play in medal games, our frustration is sometimes we don't get the Canadian umpires. Right. And they're well respected across the board, and we always send quality to any event. And it's also good that we get to the medal games, but it's frustrating whenever we can't use our own umpires, which I kind of understand. But Frankie's done a great job. She has lots of energy. She's bringing some changes to the program. Jeff Whipple did a great job for his cycles that he was there. And just interacting with the guys even this week, and all the championships I get to and the worlds that I get to, they're just like us. They want to do their best. and they put the time in it, they put the effort into it. So you got to respect what they do. They give up their time. They're not paid to come to Canadian Championships, and they're out there day in, day out. And here we had kind of a smaller crew with only 7, and they're doing somewhat 3 times a day for 3-4 days in a row. So they're putting in their time, and it's evident that they care, and so does Frankie. So looking forward to working with Frankie, and our future is good with umpiring as well.
We'll get you out on this. If Mike Branchow could kind of set, I know there's always goal setting and benchmarks, but what would be one thing that you'd like to see happen in the next few years at Softball Canada to maybe change and improve Softball Canada?
I remember my first interview I ever had with Softball Canada way back in, I think it was 06, 07. And I was posed a similar question to that. And what does this game need, and what does it, do, and what can be changed to survive? And I've always said pitching is one of the biggest things that we need, and we need to maintain. And if you go across the board and especially on the boys and the men's game, pitching is hurting in the sense of the quantity, right? And you need to develop these pitchers, and if you don't develop pitchers, you got no pitchers to play this game. It's awfully tough, and there's so many opportunities on the girls' side for softball. I'd like to see a lot of opportunities for the boys and the men's as well. With the national team program, obviously that's a huge step. Canada Games, we've been a mainstay in there. And quite honestly, Kyle, I think the challenge with softball is a lot of other sports is the financial side of things for us to maintain what we're doing. So it's not only growing the game, but it's maintaining what we got with less resources. So, our big goal right now is to get the game back in the Olympics, and we did that. Now I want to make sure we qualify for the Olympics and do the best that we possibly can in the Olympics. And again, like you mentioned right from the beginning, it starts at the grassroots. And if we can maintain our numbers that we have, even though unfortunately we're losing sponsors.
Tilly puts that out to left field. Herb is there for the catch.
Even whenever you're losing a major sponsor and you can still put the product back on the field, that's going to be key for us. And we have to, as a group, we need to figure out resources and what we can do differently and maintain what we have and continue to see increase in registration numbers. And it's one of those things where I've always, we joke about it, but it's so true that, you walk into a place or you hear somebody, well, my kid plays baseball, and then you get to the park and they're throwing a 12-inch softball underhand. So it's identifying our game, and consistency is also so important to us. And I think we're well on the right step. Like I said earlier, our staff is well experienced and doing a great job, and our board, led by Scott Niels, is also open to lots of discussion and lots of changes and maintaining what we're doing. So looking forward to the next several years to get us through the Olympics. And we're adding a U15 women's team. Probably it was just announced that WBSC is hosting that event, so we're going to have 3 national teams on both the boys and the men's and the girls and the women's side. So, you add in the 2 women's and men's slow pitch team, that's 8 national teams. And obviously, financially, with the multiple events that WBSC and WBSC Americas are adding, the expenses are continuing to grow. So we're doing our best to, make it work. And everybody, like I said, from the coaches to the staff, is just happy to be where we are right now. So,
well, we thanks for your time. We always appreciate it. I know you're always willing to talk ball, and we'll let you go get back to life down in the tent and get ready for Tyler's game a little bit later on. But again, thanks for coming out, Mike. We appreciate it. Wish you all the best, and everyone at Softball Canada all the best as you enter your busy season with the national championships here for the remainder of the summer.
Great. Thanks, Kyle.
Mike Brancho, CEO of Softball Canada, joining us here and talking at a 50,000-foot look as that bunt from Andrew Van Boekel down and gets tagged out. And as Joe Todd sits back in, and Joe, you listen to Mike talk about the game, and there's just so many things going on, right? It's not just at the national team level, but it's at the grassroots level. It's the umpiring program. It's everything encompassing that that has to be looked after.
Yeah, he's done a great job taking over that program. Made some big improvements.
So while we were with Mike, a little interesting for Nova Scotia as they threatened but did not score. Stays 1-0. Van Boekel led off here with a bunt out down the first base line. 3 unassisted for those of you scoring at home with us. But I don't know if you noticed, Joe, but on that Nick White home run swing, after he made contact, that shoulder, he brought that arm right up tight against his body as he ran around the bases. So that's still bothering him. High hopper, head high, on to first, and up and down here. Connor Brooks on the ground out. 2 down in the inning, and now Thomas Baker at the plate.
Nathan Peters had a really nice bounce there.
Interesting tidbit there, Joe, as Mike was kind of wrapping up, was the introduction of the U15 girls program national team. There was a U15 event last year. Canada didn't participate, but introducing a national team. So if you're a young female player, opportunity awaits you on the international stage.
The game is growing. Get involved.
Nick Need back to work here. He comes after Thomas Baker, swing and a miss, strike 2. 0-2 here as we reach the middle part, bottom half of the 4th. What's your takeaway thus far, Joe?
Well, great pitching performance by Nick Need so far. Holding Tavistock to just 1 hit in the program.
That one skips away from Eisner. He can't corral it, and will be a strikeout pass ball for Baker. And we're going to have a pinch runner here, Joe, as Tyson Zaire is down and talking with our home plate umpire. It's number 51, Jackson Gilbert, who will check in.
Now running at first, Jackson Gilbert.
Inside, caught a corner for strike 1. Swing and a miss. Trying to get to that rise ball, Joe, but just underneath of it. Good elevation there from Nick Need. We've seen Need down in Mexico be the workhorse. He's doing that here for Nova Scotia. Down and away, ball 2.
Good pitch. Good pitch location.
Held the swing on the rise ball.
Well, that was the right pitch to come back with that rise ball after throwing that low drop, but you got to make that a little bit closer to that strike zone. You got to at least tease the batter.
Misses again, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. It runs full here, so a head start for Jackson Gilbert, the runner at first base.
52 pitches so far for Nick Need.
Little check swing to second, on to first. Tyler Payne, neat and tidy to end the inning. We'll head to the top half of the 5th. It's 1-0 Nova Scotia.
For Tavistock in the bottom of the 4th, there were no runs on no hits and 1 left on base. After 4 complete, the score is Nova Scotia selects 1, Tavistock Merchants 0.
Just trying to acknowledge a few of the sponsors for the weekend and the games all week. Hallman Construction, Village Caterer, Lions Club of Kitchener, McCarter Graspan Lawyers, MTE Consultants, MHPC Planning Urban and Design, Ace Home Hardware in 3 locations, Mitchell, Exeter, and Arthur, run by Doug and Barry Ite, Easton Sports, Expressway Ford, New Hamburg, and the Skelton family, and of course, Conestoga College, who are providing the streaming service.
Yeah, we've made some new friends here this week. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes.
9 strikeouts for Yancey. 52 pitches for Bill. Reese. Yancey.
Trying to bunt his way on is Caleb Eisner. He goes through it for strike 1. Our friends from Conestoga, Abhishek, Amit, and Aravind, thanks to all of those individuals for getting us on the air and just letting us talk and not have to do the smart stuff. Conestoga College Digital TV Network, streaming partner here this week as that ball gets fouled off.
Imagine it's a little warm out there running those cameras.
Swing and a miss. Good rise there from Yancey. Gets Eisner down on strikes. 2 in the inning, 10 here for Reese.
With 2 outs, the batter will be the center fielder, number 2, Nick White.
Swing and a miss. Strike 1 as Nick White out in front of that changeup.
Nice, nice drop ball.
White, the bunt single and home run here this afternoon. He turned on that one, and there you see Joe. He is
he's pulling
in a whole bunch of pain on that swing. So he's playing hurt, to say the least.
Every time he's going to pull that ball, he's going to extend that shoulder.
Swing and a miss, down and away, reaching, comes up empty. 11 strikeouts for Reese Yancey, but it's Nova Scotia out in front, 1-0 after 4.5. We'll come back with the bottom half of the 5th after this.
In the top of the 5th for Nova Scotia, nothing across. Leading off the bottom of the fifth for Tavistock Merchants will be the second baseman, number 2, Jack Becker.
Bottom half of the fifth, Jack Becker will lead things off.
Jack 6 for 12 so far in the tournament, 500 batting average. 0 for 1 so far today with a fly out to the left fielder in the second inning.
And across there for call to strike. Nick Need spinning a good one here. One hitter to this point.
That hit was back in the first inning. Third batter of the game. Nick moves the ball around, moves it up and down.
1-2, 2-2 as it goes into the dirt.
Has the complete arsenal of pitches, so you will see a little bit of everything.
Swing and a miss. Climb that ladder one more time. Down on strikes. Becker for out number 1.
Fifth strikeout for Need today.
With 1 out, the batter will be the right fielder, number 9, Ben Whiffen.
Ben Whiffen now. He struck out back in the second. That one comes inside for ball 1. After this game, they will have their awards presentation from the round robin. And we'll be back on the air at 6 o'clock local time with the battle of top 2, Newfoundland and Saskatoon. Or Saskatchewan. Winner of that will go directly to tomorrow's gold medal game. We've lost our catcher, Caleb Eisner. I don't know, Joe, if that caught a piece of him.
I think it snapped his mask, but something broke.
Well, our umpire had his mask.
Okay.
So whatever it was, he's back out behind the plate. Ready to go as Ben Whiffen has a 2-0 count. That one finds its way out to short and across the diamond. Nice play there by Nathan Peters getting across to second as it looked destined for center field.
Great range by Peters to make that crossover.
2 down in the inning, and now Calvin Monroe stands at the plate.
Will be catcher number 22, Calvin Monroe.
1-0 count. That ball lifted up out of play. We're going to see a pinch hitter here coming up for Tavistock, Joe. Should we get there? Kyle Roth stands in the on-deck circle for Derek Erb. As that one goes high and outside. Ball 2, 2-1. Two-one count. 2 hoppers. Knocked down, stayed with it, and on to first. Nice play there by Tyler Payne as he played it on the in-between bounce, ate him up, stuck with it, and he was able to get the out.
Great play by Payne to stay in front of that ball. The whole objection to that, whole play of that is stay in front of the ball. Let the ball bounce off you. You'll have plenty of time to pick it up for the third out.
Leading off the top of the sixth for Nova Scotia Selects will be the third baseman, number 12, Alex Mellinson.
Quick summary of the first 5 innings. Nova Scotia Selects, 1 run on 4 hits with 3 runners left on base. Tavistock Merchants, 0 runs, 1 hit, 2 runners left on base. Here we are into the top of the 6th inning.
That ball misses. Ball 1. Early becoming late, as we say, Joe Todd. It's the Nick White home run that's telling the story to this point. As Alex Melanson will lead things off. He's 0 for 2, a pop out back to the mound and a strikeout here this afternoon. Swing and a miss on the rise ball. Comes up empty. Yancey hard after it. Rise ball, and that one fouled off. Jeff Frazier, the head coach and man in the third base coach's box, is down to talk with Dave Jackson, the home plate umpire, about the pause and glove positioning of Reese Yancey. Whether or not he's calling for a double pause or what. Rise ball, swing and a miss. Melanson down on strikes. I have a dozen strikeouts in my book, Joe.
You are correct.
Can't even really say that the Nick White home run was a mistake by Reese Yancey. It was just a well-struck ball by White out on the corner, and he got it out beyond the fence.
The Tavistock just has to find their hitting shoes here. Just with one hit so far in the game. Reese Yancey's done a great job containing the bats of Nova Scotia. Played some great defense behind him. They need to find the other half of the game.
Yancey, that rise ball, well out for ball one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Check the swing. Did Fraser. It stays 2-2.
Good scoop by Monroe there.
Calvin just quietly plays a good catcher behind the plate. Receives it well. As that one caught looking. Fraser down on strikes. 13 now for Yancey.
Baker's doesn't.
Calls a really good game behind the plate, too. Really in sync with his pitcher on the mound. As Braden Woodworth now comes to the plate. Swing and a miss off speed, down and away. And Joe, we'd be remiss if we didn't say a very good afternoon to our friends out on the East Coast, Randy Frame and Chris Hopewell out in Nova Scotia, of course, the illustrious hosts of Outside the Chute softball podcast.
I'm sure they're probably sitting by a pool somewhere with a bevy.
Framer's probably for sure got a beer in his hand, and I'm sure Hopi's got one with him. But those two guys doing just an outstanding job at promoting the game, both on the men's side, but even the women's side. Sharing the stories as that one down to Baker at third. He's across the diamond. Up and down inning for Nova Scotia. They lead 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th after this here in Kitchener. Bottom half of the sixth here in Kitchener at the Peter Hallman Ball Yard. Kyle Smith, Joe Todd here with you at the U23 Men's Canadian Championship. Glad to have you along wherever you may be watching from. And we are, in fact, going to see Kyle Roth. I believe I said last inning it is Kyle who appears to pinch hit. He's in for Derek Erb. That ball lifted up. Long run. White will get it on the run. And I said to you, Joe, off air, that it just feels like this might have to be the inning that Tavi gets something going.
Yes, well, now we're back up to the top of the order. This is the third time that these guys have seen Nick Need. It's time to get the bats rolling.
That rise ball misses. Top of the order, and Mason McKay at the plate. Andrew Van Boekel standing in the on-deck circle. That one misses. Ball 2. We've got 2 more games on tap here this afternoon. At 6 o'clock local time, we'll see Delisle Pride taking on the Murno Mariners as that ball lifted up to right field. Under it is Cam Weatherby. He makes the catch for out number 2. As Andrew Van Boekel now comes to the plate, he's 0 for 2. And then later on tonight, it's the Wyerton Red Devils. They'll take on the winner of this game here later on at 8:15 local time. Swing and a miss, pulled the hands in, can't get to it.
Need's done a great job on the mound. 71 pitches so far. Here we are in the 6th inning, so average of about 12 pitches per inning.
Van Boekel pops that out into right center. It goes for a base hit. He's got desires of second, but the parachute goes out, and he'll stand at first base with a 2-out single.
Just the second hit, first hit since the 1st inning.
Now batting the first baseman, number 7.
Connor Brook now at the plate. Connor 1 for 2 so far in the game. Top batter for Tavistock all week, so he's in the prime position here.
First pitch fouls that off. Mean Potatoes part of the order. 3, 4, 5 here with 2 down. Thomas Baker lurking in the on-deck circle.
Big thing is you got to be a good, smart batter at there. You pick out your pitches that you want to get. Be selective.
That ball gets lifted up, and under it is Evan Tilley for the 3rd out of the inning. Work around the single. Other than that, nothing doing for Tavi. Top half of the 7th coming up. It's a 1-0 ball game here. Nova Scotia leading and coming to the plate.
The score remains Nova Scotia selects 1, Tavistock Merchants no score. Leading off the top of the seventh for Nova Scotia will be the shortstop, number 4, Nathan Peters.
Reese Yancey back to the mound here for the Tavistock Merchants, trailing by a score of 1-0. It's Nathan Peters standing at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts.
Nathan's made some great defensive plays. Shortstop got great range out there.
Peters lifts that up. No man's land, but Mason McKay comes out of nowhere. Makes a sliding grab to retire Peters on the leadoff opportunity.
He ran a long way for that ball. There's no way the shortstop was going to get it going back, and the left fielder was playing Peters even a little bit deeper than that. So long way and a great grab there. Great range by Mason McKay.
Cam Weatherby now at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And he takes for strike 1.
That play was huge because considering you're going to get a base runner on top of the 7th inning with nobody out. Now the bases are clear.
That ball goes foul. I'll be honest, Joe. I thought off the bat and the way that Van Boekel looked like as he was going out looking at the left fielder, Derek Erb, that ball was destined for a base hit, and then Mason McKay comes sliding out of nowhere to make the catch. As you look ahead to the bottom of the 7th, it's Baker, Bateman, and Becker, the 3 Bs. Swing and a miss by Weatherby for 14th strikeout of the afternoon. But they lead it where it matters, and that's on the scoreboard, 1-0 here, as Evan Tilley comes to the plate. Winner go home here this afternoon. The winner of this takes on the Wyerton Red Devils later on this afternoon. Actually, that'll be this evening. 8:15 scheduled start time. That ball goes off the foot of Tilley. Kyle Smith, Joe Todd here with you. We've got 2 games remaining, and then the 2 big ones tomorrow morning and afternoon here at the Ball Yard for Peter Hallman. Roller to third, over to first. 1, 2, 3. Nova Scotia down in order. Tavistock, it's last call here at the U23 Men's Canadian Championship.
off the bottom of the seventh for Tavistock will be the third baseman, number 49, Thomas.
To start off the top of the seventh inning for the Tavistock Merchants, to go to the third baseman, Thomas Baker, 0 for 1 so far. Got down by back in the fourth inning on a strikeout, and then a wild pitch.
Four, five, six hitters due up. First pitch swinging, that ball, it's going to get down for a base hit. Baker, he's going to chug into second. He'll stand there with a leadoff double. Tavistock waking things up here in the bottom of the seventh.
Good clutch hit there by Baker. Get things rolling here for Tavistock. The ball was tailing out to Braden Woodworth.
And Joe, we're going to see a pinch hitter here, but it's not a pinch hitter off the bench. It's Reese Yancey who will come in and hit for the designated player, Keenan Bateman. Bateman was hitting for Yancey.
Now batting.
Now Yancey will hit for himself. Runner in scoring position. What's the thought here? Need. Takes strike one at the letters. Our first game went down to the wire and then some. What does Tavi have up their sleeve here this afternoon? Up and in, ball two.
I'd play Reese Yancey a little late as being his first time at the plate too.
Outside. Ball two, 2-1.
It feels slightly compressed by Nova Scotia, but not much.
Need. Got it in on the hands. That one goes foul.
Good pitch by Need. Tie up his hands. Now into 2 strikes here. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Runner at second and Baker. Yancey at the plate. Need. He'll come set. Reaches and just fouling it off, staying alive at the plate here.
Good job of getting a bat on that ball. Wasn't his pitch, but too close to lay off.
Off speed, through the hole, through the wickets, but covering was Tyler Payne. He retrieved it and handed it to his first baseman.
Well, good play by Reese Yancey just to get a bat in that ball and pull it to that right side of the infield, advancing that runner now over to third base with just 1 out.
Jake Voisin will come to the plate. He checks in for Jack Becker.
Now batting, number 93, Jake Wilson.
Need, sets, Swing and a miss coming right after him there on that pitch.
And stay right up there with that strike. You seen what he waved at the last time?
Need. That one fouled off.
Way up in the count now, no balls, 2 strikes.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Huge strikeout.
Down goes Voisin. 2/3 of the way out of the jam. And Ben Whiffen comes to the plate here, representing Tavistock's last hope to extend this ball game.
First strikeout for Nick Need since the 3rd inning. Sorry, there was one in the 5th.
First pitch fouled out of play.
Sharp on that left side of the infield. Whiffen's pulled the ball once over to Peters.
Swing and a miss. Climb that ladder. Does Nick Need.
No balls, 2 strikes. Way up in the count. You can move that ball around.
Fouled. Out of play. That ball lifted up. Long run for a White. He's under it and makes the catch. And the Nova Scotia Selects have punched their ticket into tonight's ball game as they upend the defending champions, the Tavistock Merchants, by a score of 1-0 on a absolute gem by Nick Need. And it was the strength of Nick White's solo home run.
Great performance there by Nova Scotia. They're on a bit of a roll here now after coming through with 2 big games yesterday and another great big game today. We'll be seeing them again tonight at 8:15. So congratulations to the Nova Scotia Selects. We'll be signing off and back on the air probably around 5 to 6.
Stay tuned. Our scheduled start time, 6 p.m. local. That'll be the Delisle Pride taking on the Newfoundland Murno Mariners. From our broadcast partner, Joe Todd. For everyone at Conestoga Digital TV Network, I'm Kyle Smith. We'll say so long and see you later from the Peter Hallman Ball Yard.
Just that feeling.